With social services, and I would note that Councilman Hager, Councilman Pridemore, Councilman Stein are here. And Renee, if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and then make whatever budget presentation you'd like to make.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. To my left, I have Pam McEwen, our Chief Financial Officer, and to my right is Will Connolly, the Director of the Homelessness Commission. Good morning, Mayor Dean. Good morning, Deputy Mayor Highnote and Director Reevely. As you well know, Metro Social Services provides a range of services to help Davidson County residents who are in need. These services promote positive change to individuals and families in times of crisis and economic hardship. With that, over the past year, we've been quite busy. We completed the Metro Social Services Comprehensive Case Management System. The Planning and Coordination Unit of Metro Social Services released the Community Needs Evaluation, which you have a copy of the executive summary before you. We established 7 new community partnerships to provide housing, case management, and case assessment assistance. And the Homelessness Commission, along with community partners, housed 189 people experiencing chronic homelessness in 100 days, a tripling of the usual housing placement rate for this population. The Homelessness Commission also collaborated with MDHA to create a preference for vulnerable individuals in the Section 8 program. The 3% reduction for the Homelessness Commission will result in a $43,700 reduction in funds for external homeless contracts. The 3% reduction for Metro Social Services will result in the elimination of 4 full-time vacant positions. The Homemaker program is ending through attrition over the next 1 to 2 years, based on the recommendation made in the 2004 performance audit and again in a 2014 internal audit. Both audits concluded that the homemaker services are normally provided by community service agencies or for-profit organizations at a lower cost. In May of 2014, the Social Services Board of Commissioners agreed with the audit findings and voted unanimously to end the program through attrition over the next 1 to 2 years. Finally, we proposed to downgrade a quality assurance position to a social worker 3 position. The quality assurance manager was originally hired in based on the performance audit, and the primary function of this position was for accreditation efforts. Now that MSS has increased the role in providing case management services, partnering with various Metro and community partners, we no longer need the quality assurance manager position. Rather, we preferred to hire more qualified social workers. The individual currently in the quality assurance manager position will be placed in the social worker 3 position. That concludes my report on the budget, and if you have any questions.
Okay, if I'm reading this, there's one other potential reduction you looked at in terms of the Homelessness Commission.
Yes, that 3% cut is to all the external Homelessness Commission contracts.
And what would that do to services?
Really?
Yeah, our 3 contracts are with Room in the Inn for their day center and their guest house program for people who are publicly intoxicated, Park Center, which is the mental health agency, and Centerstone mental health agency. So it would affect the day center or the day shelter's operations at Room in the Inn and the amount of home visits that we can do for people who are homeless and getting into housing. That's the Centerstone contract. So
it would have an adverse effect on what you do?
Yeah.
All right, so we shouldn't do that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aren't you glad you sat on the table?
Yeah, thanks.
So take that out, and then the other 2 are things that you're recommending that we do. Makes sense. And then you have, and this is a grant they're receiving, right? Here.
What is the grant?
Budget for CABH.
Here. Do you know what it is, Renee?
Yeah, so
CABHI. That's yours, Will?
yeah, it's called a CABI, which is federal funding. So we effectively increased our budget by 1/3 by winning this new federal grant, and it provides services in the home as well. So when people are making the transition from homelessness to permanent housing, they often need support, and this grant provides that support. It's a 3-year federal grant that's totals about $1.5 million, and we're contracting it out to partners in the community to provide those services.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, well, that's pretty clear. Let me ask just about the state of homelessness in Nashville now. How are things going? I know you've done some innovative programs in terms of finding housing and had some success. If you could talk about that.
Yeah, thanks. So over the last year and a half, we've effectively doubled the housing placement rate of people who are on the streets who get into housing. So they're double the amount of people each month going into housing than there used to be. That's thanks to the work of MSS social workers, as well as a lot of nonprofit partners and agencies like MDHA. So that's a success, but we need to double that rate again if we're going to really end veterans homelessness and chronic homelessness. So we have a lot of work to do there, and it's getting tougher and tougher in the housing market because it's so competitive. So that's those two federal goals, ending veterans and chronic homelessness, are kind of our focus right now at the commission. We appreciate the support of the Barnes Fund. We think housing opportunities that are created through that mechanism will make our job easier, and we're always looking for more landlords to partner with MDHA in the Section 8 program, and the more landlords that get on board there, the easier it'll be to find housing. So those are just a couple of things. We will focus more on youth homelessness soon. And family homelessness. There are two federal goals to end family and youth homelessness by 2020. And we were recently invited actually to the White House at the end of this month for a youth homelessness summit. So there'll be more attention at the federal level on those two populations.
Okay. Do you have any, what's your, in terms of the census of homeless in Nashville, do you have a figure that you could?
Yeah, every year we do a point-in-time count, so that happened at the end of January. We counted around 2,200 people experiencing homelessness on one night, and that was, I think, like around a 3% reduction from the year before. For people who've been on the streets the longest, we had about a 10% reduction from the year before, so we feel like our focus on chronic homelessness has really helped there. But the data is kind of limited. It's tough to count people on the streets and people in campsites and people in motels or people that come in and out of jail or the hospital system. So really, our work over the next 6 months is to try to really look at the data that we have and try to make more informed estimates on how many folks are out there and really what our goal should be to make a big dent in those populations. So.
Okay. Yeah. And then Renee, you mentioned in terms of the funds that you don't believe you're sort of moving out of that work, and you mentioned the need for more social workers.
Yes, we unfortunately the homemaker program is ending, but initially we had about 200 customers at that time when we started the process. Now almost half have come off the rolls, so that's going well. So we've been very fortunate through the approval of the finance office to add an additional intake unit to assist our social workers with the volume of people that are coming in daily. Our numbers are almost up by 50% over last year. So yes, with the quality manager positions, considering the fact that we're no longer pursuing accreditation, we decided to lower that classification into a social worker 3. So that will, I will have a total of 13 social workers at that time, but I'm definitely in need of more social workers, but I did not ask for it in this budget.
Okay. Great.
I just want to compliment you for sort of looking at what you're doing in your programs and how you're providing services and thinking about are there better ways to redeploy those assets and those resources somewhere else. I want to compliment you for that. That's a good thing. That's why we go through this exercise.
Yes, and thank you for your help out of the mayor's office and the finance office. I appreciate it.
Rich?
No questions, thank you.
Well, thanks for the important work you do, and thanks for changing your time and getting in here a little bit early, and we'll do the best we can. We appreciate you all. Thanks.
Well, thank you.